Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Dr. Roslyn Marandu Kareithi. I'm the country lead Kenya of the Alan and Jill Gray Philanthropies. We have a program known as Jasiri, and today we will be sharing with you very many details about our Jasiri Growth Accelerator program. Indeed, it is our sincere appreciation for the amazing partnership that we have with the Kenya National Innovation Agency, Kenya, and to all of you at the agency, from your CEO to all the colleagues there that we work very closely with. We want to thank you for your partnership and thank you for inviting us to this webinar and giving us the wonderful opportunity through which we would not have been able to have reached the far corners of Kenya to let many entrepreneurs, many with businesses that would qualify for our growth accelerator to hear. So it is because of this amazing partnership that we are here today, and we are so excited to see over 50 people already at this webinar. As an organization, we are known as the Alan and Jill Gray Philanthropies, and we've embarked on a journey to develop responsible entrepreneurs across the African continent. And this is done in the commitment for the good of many people. Our long-term strategy will ultimately contribute to job creation and poverty alleviation, and hence contribute to social economic development. Now, we are interested in entrepreneurs with existing startups, with existing businesses to apply. We are interested particularly, ladies and gentlemen, on ventures with a market creating innovation. What do we mean by that? We're interested in businesses that solve difficult problems. And those businesses are providing goods and services to a large number of people. Those goods and services are currently not existing or are unaffordable or inaccessible. We have patient capital and are honored to be able to support those who will be brave, those who will be Jasiri enough. Jasiri means brave in Swahili. So we are interested in supporting those Jasiri businesses who will be applying for our growth accelerator. And we look forward in the near future to those growth accelerator businesses growing in leaps and bounds while contributing, as we've said, to social economic development in Africa. It is now my great pleasure to welcome none other than our entrepreneur in residence, our program lead, Sandra Spiri, who is going to give you all details about the Jasiri Growth Accelerator. Thereafter, you will also engage with our lead recruiter, Amadine, who jointly with Sandra's will answer any questions that you have. Without any further ado, Sandra's, Karibu, welcome.
Right. Thank you very much. Dr. Rose, I think maybe before I go, you could introduce Ms. Agnes, and then she could speak for a bit, and then I can introduce the Growth Accelerator.
Very, very happy to do that. Madam Agnes, it is our great honor as Jasiri, once again, to have you have us at your auspicious webinar. We thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be here with us. And we heard from Dr. Tony that he was not able to, but you are. So without any further ado, Madam Agnes, karibu sana. Please address us before we proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity, Dr. Roslyn Marandu. My name is Agnes Tuma. I'm sorry I won't be able to turn off my camera due to internet connectivity, but I'm really happy to be here today to engage with the entrepreneurs and innovators. And I really appreciate the collaboration we are having with Jasiri and the philanthropist organization. It's been a good journey. Even before I joined Kenya, you have been engaging with Kenya, and I feel like I'm really honored to be part of this conversation today. Probably just a little bit of introduction, just a brief about Kenya. Kenya was incorporated through this institutional, my apologies, through the Act of Parliament, and that is 2013. But I would say we've actually been able to start off really well in 2020 when we got our substantive CEO, Dr. Tony Omwansa, in September. And so far, we've been able to come up with quite a number of initiatives around the agency. We have 6 strategic priority areas. And for purposes of this engagement, I would really want to focus more on the startup track, which is more linked to the commercialization track and dissemination and awareness track. And for purposes of this particular activity, I know we are going to be focusing more on the innovation bridge, which is one way of us supporting the environment and enabling the environment to be able to disseminate their innovations and, helping startups be able to link up with funders, investors, even just basically being able to reach out to the industry much more easier. So through the innovation bridge, we've been able to bring together innovators and stuff. We're basically bringing together the demand side and the supply side, being the innovators. And so this platform was rolled out 2 months ago, and we're really happy to say that we've actually been able to attract quite a number of innovators and startups, well, almost 1,000 of them already. And I feel like as we continue developing it, we are seeing an opportunity where we'll actually be able to pull in quite a number of investors to be able to, identify solutions that can be able to work for their entities. And at this juncture, I'd also like to talk a little bit about the other initiatives we're doing as Kenya from a national perspective, an institutional perspective, and this is an individual initiative. The Innovation Bridge is supposed to directly benefit the innovators at an individual level. We have initiatives that are supposed to address institutional levels, and this we are working directly with research centers, with universities, and we are now slowly engaging startups through the entrepreneurship support organizations. And this is actually possible through the Association of Countrywide Innovation Hubs and ASEC. So we signed up just the other day, and we thank God because of that opportunity, we are able to reach out to more startups and entrepreneurs and innovators. And we believe we are going to be able to work very closely towards achieving this. Our ultimate goal is to be able to build the innovation system. And how do we build this if we are not able to engage, with the individuals who are making this possible? And so I believe through the Jasiri Accelerator program, we are giving our users, our partners who are in the innovation bridge, an opportunity to grow, to be able to grow their business beyond what they have right now. And I am really looking forward to learning more about Jasiri's and even being able to engage on other activities and collaborate further. I know we all know about the Kenya Innovation Week, which is supposed to be taking place in December from 6th to 8th. And I'm really looking forward to see what we can do with the Jasiri's team. And of course, some of the members who will be taken up for the cohort that is coming up, if we can actually be able to have them come up and share some of their success stories during the Innovation Week. I'm not so sure how many minutes I was supposed to speak. I could go on and on, but I really like to hand this back to, should be Dr. Rosalind, sorry, or I'm not sure.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Agnes. Thank you so much, Agnes Tsuma. It's such an honor for us to have you here with us today. And again, for you to give us this amazing platform. We note that you as a manager of innovation commercialization at Kenya has a very big passion for what we're doing. And we're really, really excited to collaborate. We take you up on your offer. You will see Jasiri at the Kenya Innovation Week much bigger than you did last year. We were there, and indeed the growth accelerator businesses that we support must be showcased there. Asante sana for that.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, now without any more introductions needed, I hand you over to our program lead, Sandras Piri, who is going to give you details about our growth accelerator. Sandras.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rose, and thank you very much, Madam Agnes Tuma, for that. We're really excited with the work that Kenya is doing. So I'm going to get now into the growth accelerator and share what we are doing and what we are aiming to achieve and why we're doing it. The Jasiri Growth Accelerator is a startup support program that is designed to facilitate the growth of early stage startups, or early stage companies. It aims to take existing businesses and help them hit key milestones that make them investable. So we are focusing very much on growth, and then growth has got different aspects of it, and the things that enable growth vary, and we're focusing on those. And the key focus areas for the program around problem solution, market sizing, product and value, creating a high performance team, strategy and execution, marketing and sales, revenue models, and fundraising. And these areas were selected from a lot of research and experience, and also working with other entrepreneurs and accelerators, seeing that if you want to grow, what should you focus on? And the design of this program is, the program is designed for busy entrepreneurs. So it's not classroom where you're sitting through just a lot of material. We know that as entrepreneurs, you're busy building, you're busy running your businesses. You want very specific knowledge, very specific help to fundraise or to grow. You're not just looking for class again. So we are aware of that. And so we designed it in such a way that it will be personalized. When all the businesses come through, we assess them, the needs analysis, and see where they are. And then we focus very much on those areas so that the work that you're doing is really helping you grow your business. So it's very practical. It's aimed at helping you grow your business. Who is the Growth Accelerator for? We are looking for early stage businesses registered in Rwanda or Kenya. And then these businesses need to have a large market potential and also market creating innovation. This is our main focus, solving difficult problems that affect millions of people. Then the other two things that we're looking for are existing user base, and you should be generating revenue. And why we're focusing on businesses that are already generating revenue is because as the growth accelerator, we need to have something to grow. So if there isn't revenue or customers, those businesses are not eligible because they still need to figure out product market fit. And the accelerator for growth is not the right one. The recruitment and selection process starts with like this, attending an information session, whether in person or virtual, and then you go to jasiri.org, jasiri.org, and complete the eligibility quiz. We put in the eligibility quiz to save you time, meaning how many of you know that process where you go through a long application form, then at the end you submit this, oh, you do not qualify. That is frustrating for entrepreneurs, and a lot of times we're busy as entrepreneurs, so we want to know, like, am I wasting time? Am I using my time efficiently? So the eligibility is to save you time. So when you go through that eligibility quiz, it takes about a minute. You will know that you are eligible to apply and make the full application form. And then also the application form is not long. We're not asking for a lot of things there. We ask you for things that you could submit in one sitting, and takes a few minutes, but that information is important to help us see if you are a great fit for the accelerator. Then the last step is to attend application interviews, where the companies that proceed to the next round get to be interviewed by Jasiri, and then finally we announce the companies that have been selected to go into the accelerator. So for the companies that do not qualify or the ones that do not get in, we are different in that we will give you an info session so you can learn what we're looking for and what you might need to do if you don't qualify in order to get in. So it's not that we don't want you to get in. We want as many businesses to get in. And so we make the criteria visible. So it's like those examiners will give you the answer sheet as well. Like, this is the answers we're looking for. So just do that. And you know that if you haven't worked on that, you know what to focus on, and also to see whether it is for you or not. The investment structure is $75,000. We'll invest $75,000 per business at the end of their 3 months acceleration program. And this is based on key milestones, growth milestones, which I said, which would be according to the accelerator as well as according to the investors. And we know that businesses in the growth stage need more than $75,000. And so we have partnered, we have other co-investors who are going to come in and invest. If you require more money, they can invest further to help you reach your investment goal. And as Jasiri, we want you to remain the majority, the majority shareholder in your business. So we talk very much about market creating innovations. Why do we emphasize that? So I'll go a little bit into market creating innovations so that it's clear to everybody, and also why it matters. So to explain what market creating innovations are, we'll start by talking about the 3 types of innovations. This is according to Professor Clayton Christensen and Efosa Ojomo. They talk about the 3 types of innovation. The first one is sustaining innovation. Sustaining innovation is where a company or an organization produces new varieties of the same thing. So you have your iPhone 5, then you have iPhone 6, iPhone 11, it's the same, new of the same. You have Samsung S10, S20, S22, it's the same, but new varieties. Same with drinks, you have different varieties. So what that does, it helps the businesses to continue to generate revenue and to continue to keep the customers stay interested in what they're offering. And that helps the business to continue to generate revenue. It doesn't necessarily increase the market segment per se. Then the second type of innovation is efficiency innovation. This is the one that a lot of people know about, which is finding better or cheaper ways of doing the same thing. So if you had 5 people doing something, for instance, then you bring in a machine that does the work. You have a robot doing work that people are doing. Now you have mining, they're automated, they're self-driving trucks that mine, and now they're self-driving cars, all those type of things where a lot of people were doing something or somebody was doing it, and now you bring in efficiency. What this does is that it releases cash for the businesses. It makes the businesses have a lot more cash, because if you're hiring 100 people, now they're all been replaced by one truck, then you save on a lot. Or you're using robots or bots or automation, it saves. So the good thing of this type of innovation is that it generates money for the company. The downside is that people lose jobs generally with efficiency innovations. And then also the business or the money moves to other markets. So sometimes you have organizations that then export work, saying we'll get this work done in a particular country because it's cheaper to manufacture from there, or it's cheaper to get labor from that area because of that. So we're not very fond of efficiency innovation for as Jasiri, but it's good for the business. But for the people, for economies, it's not usually great. The one that we like is market creating innovation, and that's where we focus. This is where you create new service or product for markets, for new markets. So to give an example, one of the oldest MCI was the car. When Henry Ford said we'll create the Model T car, he said, I want to make a car affordable to ordinary everyday people, because previously cars then were available to the super rich people. So by doing that, more people afforded the car, but it was difficult to do that to begin with. That a lot of engineers, experts says it can't be done. And a lot of people said, how are ordinary people going to afford this? So he made it affordable, but because of that, then new things started happening. We need new jobs that came about. So we needed drivers, and then they were driving schools. And then there were roads and road maintenance, there were filling stations. And then also people's lives changed because they didn't have to live very close to where they worked. They could live somewhere else and drive to work, and it changed lives. And the same with a plane. And then to give an example locally in Africa, with Dr. Mo Ibrahim, a few decades ago, said, I'm going to make cell phones available to ordinary people in Africa. And when he was trying to raise money, people said, ordinary people in Africa are going to pay for cell phones and they'll buy airtime, and how is that going to work? And trying to get financing for something that hasn't been done before is difficult, but he insisted. And so he had then to create new ways of doing things. So they had to now introduce scratch cards. They had to have their own towers then. But because of all the things that innovation did, it created new jobs and new opportunities. So now there are people selling scratch cards. The new businesses now just distributing that, and new businesses have come out of that. And because of that, now we built mobile money on top of it. So M-Pesa happens because of cell phones, and because of M-Pesa, other things have happened and the economy gets growing. So that is why we love MCI. So that's another great example of an MCI. So why we love MCIs? Because they create new jobs. And they serve the underserved. They impact multiple sectors of life. They enable further innovation. They build economies. They build economies. So innovation precedes infrastructure. That when you innovate, now you need the infrastructure to support the innovation. A lot of countries usually put in infrastructure first, but we know that across the continent, there are a lot of infrastructure projects that didn't lead to development. So hence, we are really, really bullish on market creating innovations. And then lastly, what prevents consumption? So with market creating innovations, we are talking about how do you make people who are not consuming a particular service or a particular good, how do you make them start consuming that? So how do you have people in rural areas, for instance, to access the internet? How do you have people in townships, shanty compounds, say certain things? Or how do you have, so those are the type of questions to ask with MCIs. And the things that prevent consumption, number one is skill. Sometimes you need high skill to do something. An example is computers. For the longest, you needed high skills to use computers. But over time, the computers been made so easy that anybody can buy a computer, and by just pushing a button, next, you configure your own computer. Previously, you needed, I worked in IT, by the way, so my first job, people are bringing computers to us to come and to configure them. So you needed that, and that's something that prevents consumption, high skill. And then number two is wealth. There's certain things that are only available to rich people. Certain investments are only available to rich people. Why? That to get in, you need $1,000 or $10,000 to just get in. Or life insurance. Why is it that only rich people can afford it? Like those are the type of questions, for instance. And then can you make those things available to people who are not as wealthy? And there are companies that are innovating in those different areas, for instance, air travel. Why shouldn't everybody fly? So those are the questions that MCIs try to answer. And then the third one is access. Sometimes it's very difficult to access something, that in order to access something, you need to go somewhere. To access the internet, you need to travel. To access the electricity, Kenya's done very well with electricity, by the way, but in a lot of other countries, there's no electricity in rural areas. You need to travel. So those things then are not available. And then the last one is time. There are certain things that just take a very long time to access. Can you as innovators, can you as entrepreneurs reduce the time it takes to access something? There was a time when you wanted music, you needed to go and buy a CD. Who remembers renting DVDs, going to watch a movie? You need to go to the video store, video library, and then you pray that somebody else didn't take the DVD. And you wait until it's available again. So somebody made that accessible to say, hey, you don't have to wait. So there's Netflix now, time is reduced. In order to watch something, you can just watch it immediately. So those are the things that we take for granted. They were not taken for granted just 15 years ago. And then, so those are the questions we can ask them to see, what are the things that take too long to access? Can we make those accessible? So this is the presentation on MCIs and the Growth Accelerator. So as you are applying to the Growth Accelerator, we'd like you to think about this, but also, even if you're not trying to do this specifically, we ask you to still apply, because in the accelerator, we will cover MCIs and also help you to think in that way. And then, as Dr. Rosa said, we do have patient capital that will help, patient capital to support you as you're trying to solve these tough problems. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to talk about the application process. So to apply, you can go to the link which has been put into the chat box, or you go to jasiri.org, you take the eligibility quiz, and then you make the application. Then we will select. Then the next step is to come to interviews. But when the selection is done, we'll give you feedback on whether you're going to the next stage or not. And then the application ends at the end of this month. So really encourage you to apply today before we go for Nyama Choma. Okay, just apply and make sure that make sure you put in this application, and then you have what you get from the accelerator is a lot of support. So more than getting money, just learning how to scale your business, that's invaluable. Like somebody teaching you how to, and guiding you, and also supporting you on how to grow your business. And sometimes when you go through a program like this, you don't even have to raise money, because now you know you're making the money and you know how to, you know the levels to pull to grow. So thank you very much. Anything that I've missed out that needs to be added? And are there any questions? So any questions in, and Joki, you could read out the questions for me in the chat box, I think.
All right. Kefa has asked, what percentage shareholding do you typically take for the $75,000 investment? And you have James who's asked, are you interested in agri-innovations?
Great. So with when we invest $75,000, we take 7.5% equity in the business. So that values the business at $1 million. And then we are aware that some of the businesses would have raised money before, and their valuation might be way more than that. And that's fine to have a conversation around that. But for a lot of the businesses, the valuation will be less than 1 million, but we're just doing a standard 1 million valuation because it makes it easier in terms of a lot of times when you're raising money. Those of you who have raised money before know that if you're raising money from angels and VCs, you say that you're raising 100,000, and then when you get to the point where you should get the money and say, okay, you're getting 50,000 in support, and then 10,000 went to contracts and legal, and then like in the end you end up with very little or nothing. So for us, we're making that standard so that it's easy and to invest. So 7.5%, 7.5%, and that's for $75,000. And then in terms of sectors, we are sector agnostic, meaning we do accept all different sectors, provided they're just not harming people, or planet, or animals. So, but we are open to all sectors.
Has asked whether we're considering debt, and Harry has asked how much the business is generating in terms of revenue to qualify for the accelerator.
Great. So as Jasiri, we're not giving debt, but we have a lot of partners, a lot of VCs and other funders that might look at other funding methods. So as Jasiri, we don't do debt, but obviously with other partnerships, you can get debt. So what we do is that when you're in the accelerator, we expose you to a lot of different partners, funding partners. And on demo day, after the end of the 3 months, you get to pitch to different investors, including Jasiri. And what was the second part of the question?
I will take maybe Edwin's as Sandra to take Atana's. So Edwin has asked whether we accept fintech startups at a pre-revenue stage. To answer that, for the accelerator is post-revenue. So there has to be evidence of post-revenue, provided some number of customer product market fit at that point. Atanas has asked if he's got 2 innovation ideas. Is it possible to present both? Then we see what's the most appropriate. And earlier on, Harry had asked how much revenue to qualify.
Oh, great. So how much revenue to qualify? We're looking at a lot of investors want to see annual revenue of at least 50,000. But for us as Jasiri, we are looking at revenue of at least 10,000. So annually, 10,000. So just make sure you have some revenue that's more than 10,000. And then that we also want to see some month-on-month revenue and growth. Then in terms of ideas for the growth accelerator, no, we're not taking ideas. We want actual businesses that are registered, that are tax compliant and are operating, because for growth, we need to grow something. So it's not a launch accelerator. So we do have a program called the Talent Investor, which is for launching, starting from ideas, which is different from the growth accelerator.
Maybe you can expand more on verification of the serial accelerator that has been asked. When you did to say 75%, it was 7.5%. So I hope that's clear. So what are the qualifications for the accelerator?
Great. To get into the accelerator, your business must be registered in Kenya or Rwanda, and it must be generating revenue, or it should have a lot of users. So we ask you to say, how many users have you got? Because we're also aware that there's certain businesses might not have a lot of revenue, but they have a lot of users already. But those are usually rare. But a lot of them, a good measure of product market fit is revenue, that people now are buying, and they're buying continuously.
the other question, Brian has asked, he's an entrepreneur in Turkana, and he has a startup that's a great style, not yet operating, still an idea, but will propel. Is it eligible for a grant? Dr. Rose, would you like to answer this one and push us back to maybe the talent investor program?
Oh, I don't think Dr. Rose got you. Dr. Rose, are you able to answer the question on somebody who's got ideas, what program they should get into?
All right, thank you very much indeed. And yes, Joki, somehow there you're a bit faint, so thanks for echoing the question, Sandras. For those of you who are passionate entrepreneurs, you know inside of you burns an idea that is indeed a market-creating innovation, as Sandras has explained, but you are pre-seed, pre-idea. We are excited to let you know that we have a Jasiri Talent Investor Program. We will come back again to Kenya when we launch for our cohort 3. We are right now in the process of finalizing the selection of candidates, amazing entrepreneurs from Kenya and Rwanda for our cohort number 2. We take 50 per cohort, and very excited to hear that question asked here. Please be on the lookout when we raise the call for applications for our Jasiri Talent Investor Program. It's very exciting. We start off with a 2-month online session led by Sandras and others, and we focus on entrepreneurial essentials. You then get into the incubation phase of the program, which is done at our residential site in Rwanda, just slightly out of Rwanda, Kigali, for 3 months. And then thereafter, you get into venture creation. In the residential period, you have an opportunity to organically form your teams because we bring like-minded individuals together. And as co-founders, you come up with ideas, and those ideas must be market-creating innovations. So yes, an opportunity for you there in the Jasiri Talent Investor Program. Sandras?
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Rose. There are questions in the Q&A side saying, from Sheila Karen, says, is that not too much? It's 7.5%. So 7.5%, we just looked at what other programs are also giving, what other investors are giving. Some take 10, others 15, and you'll find like we were trying to get to be on the lower side, and also our aim is for you to still remain the majority shareholder in your business, and so that even when you get diluted, or we get diluted when you get new investment, we all have still, you all have a great stake in your business. Anonymous attendee says, what if I've got a startup innovation idea but no capital? So for the accelerator, we're not taking ideas. Okay, yes, yeah, so we're not taking ideas, but the talent investor, you can get into the talent investor with ideas. And then Charles is asking, for those of us who have business ideas, do we get a chance to pitch them? Okay, once again, with that one, we're not doing ideas in this one. Patrick is asking, how much does one, how does one become a VC under Jasiri, and what's the minimum that you need to do so? So to become, with Jasiri, we don't manage VCs per se. We partner with the existing VCs. So if you want to be a VC, would recommend that you talk to Victoria Angels, or you want to be a VC or angel, you talk to Victoria Angels or ABAN, Africa Business Angels Network, or VC for Africa. They've got different groups across the continent, and you can join the one that you feel is suited for you. And then they have the different criteria on how much you need to put in to join as a VC or as an angel. Great. And Faith Mutune is asking, once you provide the cash injection, what other role are you going to play in the company? So once we invest, we want you to run your company. So as much as possible, we don't want to run the company for you. So we can play a role of advisor, and we can get a seat on the board. That way, at least we do provide some oversight. We see what's happening, but all the time we're there to offer you support in terms of guidance, mentorship. We have a lot of investors and founders who have a lot of experience building great companies that you can tap into at any time. But as much as possible, we want you to run your company. Anonymous attendee is asking, is it a loan or a grant? So in this case, it's not a loan and it's not a grant. So the difference is it's investment, it's equity investment. The differences would be with a grant, the money is given and it's not supposed to be returned. And then with a loan, if the money is given, you need to pay back over time with interest. And then with equity, you are selling shares in your business. So you're selling shares in your business. You're saying, my business has got 100 shares and each share is $10,000, and I'm going to sell 7.5 of my shares, which is $75,000. And there's Jasiri will buy those shares. And then the difference now between a loan and equity is that if your business fails, for a loan, you still have to pay back the loan. So when things are not working out for you, you pay back the loan. Whereas for equity, you do not. So the investors just lose the money if things don't work out. So that's why they're usually very strict in terms of they need to see what are the numbers looking like. Are you legit? Is it the business registered? Are you generating revenue? Do you have the people who can build this business and grow it? Are you the right person to grow this? It's because once they invest in you and things don't, it's really just, oops, sorry, and then that's it. So that's why it's like that. Brian is asking, how can we follow up with the Jasiri Talent Investor Program? You can go to Jasiri and follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll keep you informed on when the next cohort is running. And it's the same for everybody else who's asking about, if you don't get into this cohort, can you get into the next one? Yes. So we're planning to, at least this year, we'll run 2 cohorts for the Accelerator. Great.
There were other questions in the chat. We have James asking when.
Okay, so a question from James saying, when does Jasiri exit or sell back? I think Jasiri will just follow pretty standard time frame for investment, in terms of it can be a period of 5 to 10 years, so 7 to 10 years, where if we find that there's an exit point, whether we're getting other investors or you want to buy back the shares.
And Harry goes for a deposit-taking business, how you calculate revenue because it's for profit.
Okay, so for deposit-taking business, so how you calculate your revenue is actually the money you charge. So your fees will be the money that you're making, that's yours. So if you're keeping money on behalf of other people, that's not your money, but the money you make from that would be yours, or the fees that you're making. So it's also the same for if you are a store that sells things on behalf of people, or for instance, if you are a payment gateway, as an example. So you could say we are processing 1 billion shilling worth of transactions, but you're processing on behalf of other people. The question is, how much is yours? So your fees will be your revenue. Cool. There's another question from Victor. Victor is asking if we offer incubation support for innovation. The talent investor program takes in individuals to work on their businesses. So if you join the talent investor, you can pitch to the other people on the program to join your team, or you can build that innovation into a company through that program. Great. All right. Any other questions? Dr. Rose, anything else you'd like to add anything else you'd like to add to just encourage the entrepreneurs, innovators who are on this call?
I like that. Sandras, you're doing amazingly well. We may have missed it, but I think it would be nice for you to give us a flavor of the 3-month intensive. So we've said that the Growth Accelerator is a 3-month intensive. What does that look like? What will we be doing?
Great. So the Growth Accelerator is 3 months intensive, then followed by, at the end of the 3 months, there'll be a demo day where you are pitching to investors. So for us, we only invite investors, people who are willing to pitch. I mean, we're willing to invest and write checks and put money in your business. And then as Jasiri also, we're willing and we're ready to put money in your business. So we listen to see if you hit the key milestones. Then after that, there is a 9-month program, post acceleration program, where we now support you with your key milestones. If, for instance, you know that my revenue is at a certain point and investors have said, I want to see revenue get to this point. So they have different criteria. Some say, if you're doing over 50,000, let's talk. Others say, if you're doing over 500,000, let's talk. Others say, we want to invest only if you do 1 million. Let's talk. So we support you. But then, to Dr. Rose's question, what's going to happen in the 3 months that all the businesses that come in, we will teach you to create a 10-slide pitch deck. And in that 10-slide pitch deck, you are going to, that's the framework that we use to assess your business. So the needs analysis. Again, for us, we love to simplify things. So it's not just to give you lots of work to just do, it's more of how can we quickly help you get from point A to point B. So the way a lot of programs are designed, it's like just giving you a map book. Again, those of you who remember the days of driving with a map book, flipping through pages, but you can get lost with the map book. But now for us, it's like we are a GPS system where we're saying, okay, where do you want to go? I want to go to Mombasa. Great. Then we want to know, where are you? I'm in Nairobi, or I'm in Kisumu, or I'm in Kigali. Everybody is going to get different instructions. So that's what we're doing differently. That we're not saying, we're assuming everybody is in Nairobi. We are assuming you are all at different stages. And then what we do with that, we start guiding you, focusing very much in those areas that you need help in. But then on a bi-weekly basis, we'll be teaching, bringing in experts, other founders and mentors to teach very specific things that they know on the areas that I talked about. So some people talking about problem solution, because sometimes why you might not be growing is because the problem is too broad. It's not well defined. You might say, you say that I do printing services. And then if we look at that, say printing, what is the trend for printing? Is printing going up or printing going down? Right? The trend is like it's going down. So could you shift what the problem is? And then we help you with that. And that's what that would look at, for instance. Then other businesses, it would be that I'm struggling, my revenue is not looking good. So we look at your pricing and your revenue models to see that, are you pricing correctly? And then sometimes entrepreneurs like to say, my competitive advantage is that I am the cheapest. So being cheap is not always a competitive advantage, because it also might mean that maybe that's why you're not making money, right? Because they're not pricing things correctly. So we would look at all those type of things. So we take you through some programs that would be bi-weekly, but also guiding you based on your specific needs. So in other words, you can sit through learning all the different things, or you can just zero in the different specific areas that you need. Great. It's a question. Do you take existing businesses already having founders into the talent investor? You can go in as founders, but everybody is evaluated individually. So we don't take business into talent investor. We take individuals into talent investor. But in the accelerator, so these are separate programs. In the accelerator, we take existing businesses with the whole team. And then as a team, you can join the accelerator as a team and attend sessions as a team. It's not just like the founder alone. Great. Any other questions that I've missed?
A very interesting one has come from Sambuka, and he's talking about communication skills. And one of the things that we know in Africa we sometimes miss out on are our effective communication skills. Sandras, maybe you want to give us a flavor of how that will be tackled in the Growth Accelerator.
Fantastic. That's a very good question. In terms of communication, and what you will find, right? If I ask the question, say, how many people can make a burger better than McDonald's? A lot of you might cook a burger very well and make better food than McDonald's. But the question is, how many of you can create a better system than McDonald's? So then the answer changes. So with that, again, is that when you're creating a business, you create systems, but also you need to sell what you've built. So selling, communicating what you built. So you will learn to pitch. On the program, will teach you how to pitch your ideas, how to pitch your company, pitching. So there are a number of things you need to pitch. One, you pitch to customers. If you're saying, hey, buy my water, like, why should I choose this water over that water over the another water? You tell a story. This is coming from Mount this, and it's bottled as this and that and that. Those are stories. So there's water that costs $1, water costing $50. And it's just water, right? So it's that communication of how are you telling your story. Then you learn to communicate to communicate pitching to investors. What we would focus on in the program very much. Like, how do you communicate to investors? A lot of times you will find that it's the same people that keep raising money, the same people. Why? It's because they've learned how to communicate that. And so we will teach you. So the good news is that pitching is a learnable skill. We will teach you to communicate that. And then the third type of pitch you would have to do is for recruiting people. How do you motivate and inspire people, sell them on your vision, and they join you? And especially in the early stages, a lot of early stage entrepreneurs don't have money to hire really good talent. But with that, you pitch to them, you sell them on the vision, and you can get really good people working for you, knowing that we're building this together, and you might not need to pay them that much or even pay them. They want to guide you because of that. So we'll handle the communication skills, and it is very, very important. Cool. Great. Patrick is asking, just 7.5%, how do you protect your interests? Also, in case Jasiri sees potential in business, can you invest more in the business? So just Jasiri, we're only investing in the businesses that we see potential in. So we'll invest 7.5. And then if we do have follow-up rounds, we can have that conversation. But for this program, we are really looking at doing that initial 75,000. And then protecting our interests, we'll do a due diligence, making sure that you are a great entrepreneur, a great company, and you are really fully, and you really believe in what you're doing, and you're fully invested in that, and you want to build. So we invest, and then we also know that, we also know that it's a risk, but we also believe that you want to grow your business and that you have a good team to make it happen. Great. All right. We've come to the end of our 1 hour.
Thank you very, very much indeed, Sandras. That was very engaging, and to each and every one of you who have joined us, I hope you have been able to hear something exciting that is going to move you and your company to the next level. So please, could you type in the chat 1 if you currently have an existing early stage startup that is registered? We see your 1, Prof. Sheila, Alex, Harry, Karimi, Sambuka, Victor. They're coming in. Thank you. Please type yes or the letter Y in the chat if you know that your venture is a market creating innovation. That means you are able to provide goods and services to a large number of people, goods and services that society needs, goods and services that are currently inaccessible and inaffordable. All right, okay, great. Then type the letter J in the chat if you feel that what you've had today from us is good for you and you're going to apply for the Jasiri the Jasiri Growth Accelerator in the next couple of days. Okay, we see your applications. Great, great. Asanteni sana, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. I am really, really very excited that we're in partnership with Kenya, and it is through them that we are having all your exciting commitments and an indication that what we have for you is good for you. We are so excited that one of the things that I actually hold passionately is an ability to communicate effectively, and we're looking forward to you increasing in many ways, growing in many ways, including growing your entrepreneurial storytelling abilities. With that, we want to once again thank Kenya for inviting us to their webinar. Bwana George Masila, it is now my extreme pleasure to hand over to you so that you can close for us. Thank you everybody for your amazing participation, your questions, and once again, interest in Jasiri. And thank you to my colleagues, Sandras and Joki, for your time and all the wonderful information. Bwana George.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. for that. I must admit that this was very insightful. The interaction was top-notch, and we all loved and enjoyed the session. I know most of us were like, damn, we need to get that $75,000 as soon as now. But maybe just to move forward, we're also very happy that we had massive enrollment and massive attendance and participation in this session. So again, Kenya is very keen on linking innovators and researchers with potential investors, support programs, and also industry players, maybe to validate their problems or their solutions, and also create a market, get investment as well. So to everyone, I think I'll just say thank you, a big thank you for tuning in. Keep on checking what Kenya is offering. Of course, I am coming on board to support with the onboarding and outreach for the Kenya Innovation Bridge. So my call is very simple. If you're an innovator, and we have seen that most of us here are innovators, let's go to the Kenya Innovation Bridge, which is bridge.innovationagency.go.ke, and sign up so that you are able to interact further with more support services, including Jasiri, who are already on the Innovation Bridge. So kindly proceed to do that and spread the word. We're trying to create something different for the Kenyan industry, and we hope it's going to work. We're also looking forward to doing more of such sessions with different service different support services that are on the Innovation Bridge, different investors, different accelerator programs who are signing up on the Innovation Bridge, so that innovators and researchers and people looking at getting investment opportunities or even networking, learning, partnerships, and customers get an opportunity to interact with them. So from my end, Daktari, thank you so much.
Okay, asante sana, Bwana George. Ladies and gentlemen, it was our honor to have Bwana George Masila close for us, and he is the outreach and outbounding lead at the Kenya Innovation Bridge. You know now how to link up. He has said to you the links to the Kenya Innovation Bridge and how you can be a member there. We too are there. And so we look forward to seeing you actively engaging as a member of the bridge. We see those who have typed, we look forward to seeing those who have typed J applying today for the Jasiri Growth Accelerator program. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our pleasure to be with you. We wish you a very good evening and a very restful weekend. Kwaherini. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.